and welcome. My name is Rashi Mogha and I'm your host for this Empowered Women of the World podcast, a podcast where we talk about technology, leadership, and success. In the last few months, I've had numerous conversations with industry leaders in terms of how to reinvent themselves, especially as they adjust to the new normal, both from a business perspective and from the life perspective. And these conversations were a signal for me to bring somebody very special on our podcast. Today, I'm delighted to welcome Jennifer Mrozek Sukalo into the conversation. Jennifer is a transformational expert who helps people transform how they see themselves. She is the author of Claim Your Swagger and the founder of Swagger U University. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for inviting me to join you. I'm so delighted to be here.
So, Jennifer, I remember the first conversation you and I had, and you said something that really stuck with me. You said each one of us is worthy, not because how we look or what we accomplish. Each one of us is worthy simply because we were born worthy. And I want to start from there. Let's talk more about it.
Well, it's one of the reasons why it's one of the early parts of the Swagger, Claim Your Swagger book. It's very early on in the chapters. And the reason for that is because we have to develop a new relationship with our self-worth. We've been conditioned for so long to attach who we are to what we do, what we accomplish, or what we have. And it's time to disconnect that and create a mindset shift, recognizing that we were born worthy. There are no other qualifiers required. We are worthy simply because we exist. Our worth is innate. And that's really difficult for a lot of people to get their head around, specifically because when you think about how we've been conditioned over time, when we're younger, we often start introducing ourselves by saying, "Hi, my name is Jennifer and I'm 5 years old." As we get older, we might say, "Oh, hi, I'm so-and-so and I go to this school," or "I play this position in sports." And as we continue to mature in our lives, that conversation shifts to, "Hi, my name is Jennifer and I am such and such role at such and such company," or "I am a wife or a partner and I have this many children." We're always connecting it to something else. But we are so much more than what we do or what we have. And when we start to create that mindset shift and recognize that we are worthy simply because we exist, then we have a new starting place to rebuild that relationship with our self-worth so that we're no longer vulnerable to all these external forces that can come and attack our self-worth.
And, we tie our self-worth to things that are not permanent in our life either, right? The job roles, the positions that we have, they're not permanent. And somewhere, if you just pause, if I was to introduce myself and just pause at, "Hi, I'm Rashim," that brings all the value back to me, right?
That's right.
And sometimes we feel the need to say more because we don't think we are just enough, right?
Exactly.
By ourselves.
Exactly.
So,
and what happens when those temporary things go away, then how do you view yourself? So if you've connected your self-worth to your job or your role and all these things that, as you mentioned, Rashim, are temporary, then when they go away, then our self-worth tends to take a nosedive because we have attached it to something for our whole lives.
And it keeps changing too, depending on the external factors. And self-worth is something which I think is very personal. And it shouldn't change no matter what, right?
That's right.
So Jennifer, when you and I were talking, you also mentioned about the work that you have done with the cancer patients. And there is a personal story there too. So how did the idea of Claim Your Swagger came into being while you're working with cancer patients?
So when I was coaching cancer survivors, I recognize that when they're in treatment, surviving treatment becomes their whole life. Mm-hmm. And once they get past treatment, they've survived it, they're fundamentally changed by the experience because it's a life-changing experience. They can't go back to who they were before because they aren't that person anymore. And I have found them often to be lost and not knowing where to go. And I always wanted to help them see cancer as the spark that creates the rest of their life instead of something they survived. And as I started writing the book, people were reading my work and saying, this is much bigger than cancer survivors. You're actually writing a survivor's book, and we've all survived something. We've all had our own traumas, our trials and tribulations in life, and this book is meant to help everyone who's had issues and things to survive to move out of survival mode and learn to use what you already have to start thriving in your everyday life.
And I'm smiling over here because sometimes, and I've lived my whole career in a corporate environment. So it's everyday survival. It's from one day to another, one day at a time, trying to survive the madness. And that's why I was very, very excited when I got the copy of your book. I have it here with me. And also, when I read the book, I realized that it's not a typical read it once kind of a book. Similar to my book, Fast Track Your Leadership Career, this book is something that readers will keep going back to. Was that always the intention as you were writing this book?
Yes, it was, because when I was a global leadership consultant for the past 12 years and working with leaders from all over the world and aspiring leaders all the way up to the C-suite of organizations, I was focusing on experiential learning. And we learn best as adults by doing. Think about the best lessons you've ever had in your life. The ones that stick with you are the ones that you learned by figuring it out on your own, not because of someone else giving you the answer. And so this book is rooted in experiential learning. And that means that you, the reader, are the one doing the work. And that's what makes it so powerful. I really wanted to help people take action and do something. You can't simply read something and create change. You have to do something. And so I give people a roadmap and the steps to take to start taking action right now.
It's so wonderful what you just said, because 2 days ago I released a video on this, which is, you can listen to as many inspirational talks as you want to. You can read as many books, but that doesn't bring the change. It's how you interpret those learnings and implement those learnings in your everyday life that brings the change. So
no, I couldn't agree more, because to me, I say that swagger is not just a word, it's a lifestyle. Yeah. And it's something that must be worked on and practiced daily. And I live that every single day. I work on my swagger every single day.
And by the way, we do have to expand swagger for our audience.
Yes.
I don't think we have done that yet.
It is an acronym. So it is not what people think, and it's not the dictionary definition of swagger. It stands for self-worth, appreciation for your strengths and limitations, gratitude for how your life experiences have shaped who you are, grounded in your core values, empowered to overcome self-limiting beliefs, and renewed through a greater focus on your passion and purpose. And the book takes you through each of those steps, giving you tools, techniques, and things you can do right now to work on those aspects so you can claim your swagger.
I must say, I'm reading the book and I'm loving every bit of it. I'm going slow though. My hope was that before we would record this podcast, I would have read the entire book. But because it requires that inner work, right? And I wanted to do it right, I'm actually working on the pieces right now. So
good for you. Good for you.
There is always learning is continuous. Like, you always have to keep evolving. Just because we have written books, both you and I, and obviously we have credibility in the industry, doesn't mean that we stop learning. In fact, we have a bigger responsibility to learn more, because there are people who are looking for insights from us. And that means that we have to continuously evolve. so that we can inspire others to evolve as well.
I couldn't agree more. When we stop learning, I kind of think we stop living.
Yeah.
Because learning, we are continuous works in progress, continually evolving a little better every day.
So what is next after Claim Your Swagger? I've heard from the grapevine that it is first of the 3-part series.
So Claim Your Swagger is the first book. And that really builds the foundation and helps people really use and learn who they are and tap into who they are. The second book is going to be Develop Your Swagger. And the third book is going to be Live with Swagger. So there's going to be more to come, definitely more to come after the first book.
Jennifer, I think both of us, you and I, have been on this transformation journey for years now. I know I have been on this journey. We can go on talking hours about inner transformation, but knowing that our time is limited today, where can our audience find you or connect with you?
So a great place to start is swaggeru, that's the letter U.com. That's my website. They can reach out to me. They can even take a swagger quiz to find out where their swagger is today, how they view themselves and their life circumstances. There's a way to contact me and reach out to me through that website. They can also find me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. I'm on social media, so they can go swaggeru_Jennifer. They just type that in, they'll find me one way or the other.
It was such a pleasure to have you today on our podcast. I'm just amazed at how I have been through this journey of transformation and insights that I have received from the book. And I can't wait for our audience to start leveraging the book and find their swagger. Thank you for sharing your insights with the eWOW audience today, Jennifer. I'm really, really appreciative.
Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to share this message and to speak to your listeners. I think that everybody already has what they need. They just need to learn how to use it. And that's what Claim Your Swagger does.
And today's resource for you, my dear audience, in over 60 countries is the link to Jennifer's book, Claim Your Swagger. The link is in the show notes. As always, thank you for joining me today. And thank you for loving, liking, supporting, and sharing this podcast. Remember, sharing is caring. I look forward to seeing you in our next podcast. Till then, keep empowering the world.